Oh, I need to read this because it sounds so nice. See, it says here, Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning is one of the great books of our time. Typically, if a book has one passage, one idea with the power to change a person's life, that alone justifies reading and rereading it and finding room for it on one's shelves. This book has several such passages. Like this one. It is first of all a book about survival. Like so many German and East European Jews who thought themselves secure, Frankl was cast into the Nazi network of concentration and extermination camps. Miraculously, he survived in the biblical phrase, a brand plucked from the fire. But his account in this book is less about his travails, what he suffered and lost, than it is about the sources of his strength to survive. Several times in the course of the book, Frankl approvingly quotes the words of, how do I say this? Nietzsche something? He who has a why to live for can bear almost anyhow. He describes poignantly the prisoners who gave up on life, who had lost all hope for a future, and were inevitably the first to die. I'm recording. Oh, they died less from lack of food or lack of medicine than from lack of hope, lack of something to live for. By contrast, Frankl kept himself alive and kept hope alive by summoning up thoughts of his wife and the prospect of seeing her again after the war, and dreaming at one point of lecturing after the war about the psychological lessons to be learned from the Auschwitz experience. See, that's so nice. Clearly, many prisoners who desperately wanted to live did die, some of disease, some in the crematoria. But Frankl's concern is less with the question of why most died than it is with the question of why anyone at all survived. And that's nice. His experience in Auschwitz, terrible as it was, reinforced what was already one of his key ideas. Life is not primarily a quest for pleasure, as Freud believed, or a quest for power, as Alfred Adler taught, but a quest for meaning. See? The great task for any person is to find meaning in his or her life. Have you found your meaning?
Me? How about you?
Maybe I did. I don't know. Hey.
You did.
Frankl saw three possible sources for meaning. In work, doing something significant. In love, caring for another person, as Frankl held on to the image of his wife through the darkest days in Auschwitz. And in courage in difficult times.
Why did you turn on the fan and there's no aircon?
Because it will be noisy in my video. You turn on the aircon. Suffering in and of itself is meaningless. We give our suffering meaning by the way in which we respond to it. Yes. At one point, he writes that a person may remain brave, dignified, and unselfish, or in the bitter fight for self-preservation, he may forget his human dignity and become no more than an animal. He concedes that only a few prisoners of the Nazis were able to do the former, but even one such example is sufficient proof that man's inner strength may rise above and may raise him above his outward fate. That's nice. Finally, Frankl's most endearing insight, one that I have called on often in my own life and in countless counseling situations, forces beyond your control can take away everything you possess except one thing: your freedom to choose how you will respond to the situation. Yeah. You cannot control what happens to you in life, but you can always control what you feel, what you will feel and do about what happens to you. See, that's why. That's why. Wait, who wrote this preface? Preface is written by Harold S. Kushner. This is nice. Frankl would have argued that we are never left with nothing as long as we retain the freedom to choose how we will respond. That is so nice. I have known people who rose to the challenge of enduring the most terrible of afflictions and situations as long as they believed there was a point to their suffering. That's nice. We have come to recognize that this is a profoundly religious book. It insists that life is meaningful and that we must learn to see life as meaningful despite our circumstances. It emphasizes that there is an ultimate purpose to life. I like this book. So I'm currently in page 22, and this book is just so good. I always love books that is about experiences from Nazis and from Auschwitz and like the World War II. It's very touching, and I love reading these books because they make me realize things about life. So yeah, I'm so excited for this. I feel really teary because like even though we did not experience these things, but it's such a very sad and cruel thing to happen to people. But I'm so happy that the author of this book is really positive about life, and he's able to find meaning in his life even with all of the experiences that he experienced and with all of the difficult things that happened to him. He's able to hold on to hope and to life, and yeah, I'm just excited to finish this. And I'm still on page 22, and it's still until page 154. So I still have a long way to go, but I'm really excited about this book.